Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Henry Graybill, and welcome to The Breakdown. Well, everybody, we're back, and I'm pretty sure that every single person watching this video has absolutely no idea what I mean when I say we're back at The Breakdown. But for those of you who don't know, maybe some of you do, I don't really know, but The Breakdown was actually a series that I really wanted to make like a long time ago, and it just didn't. I did one episode and I just never made one again, and I really wanted to, but I never did. But now I'm back at it, and I decided what is the best movie we should do. The Breakdown is the most recent one, Last Day. So for those of you who don't know, The Breakdown is actually a series that I started when I was in middle school, before I knew anything about film. And I thought I was so smart, I'm gonna make like a video teaching people how to make movies, even though I don't even know how to make movies. And now, here I am, like 2 years later, I know a decent amount of movies stuff, like enough where I can probably teach some people some stuff. So I decided, who cares? Let's freaking do it. Last Day started off as a super simple idea. How would a person realistically react to finding out they have 24 hours to live? Because if you ask people, hey, what would you do if you had 24 hours to live? They say, oh, I'd go see my family, I'd go do this, but like, what would you really do if you had 24 hours to live? And that's what I hoped to explore in this movie. But this movie is very interesting, and I felt like it was a perfect opportunity to just start back the Breakdown series because there was a lot of new things that we incorporated into this movie that I don't think anyone noticed. We have tried a lot of new things. A lot of those things are part of the more artistic side of filmmaking, because it's only been till about a year ago that I realized that filmmaking isn't just putting your actor in front of a camera and making them say their lines. It's capturing an emotion and a feeling, and there are things you can do when you make the movie to maximize those emotions and feelings, and also control how you want your audience to feel by doing certain things like positioning the camera a certain way, having a certain color show up, do certain music. It's an unlimited possibility. If I wanted to name all of the ways I could make you feel a certain way, we'd be here all day. But let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So I wanted to start this off with 3 different categories that we're going to talk, kind of breaking down the breakdown, you know what I mean? So we're going to start off with color. Color is one of the big things that I haven't really paid much attention to in film. Of course, I've added filters here and there, and I've paid attention to color of clothing and stuff like that, but not so much the color of the film itself. And so that's why I decided to incorporate that into the movie, and so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Number 2, we're going to be talking about cinematography. Now, cinematography has been something I've been very interested in the past couple months. I've been trying to incorporate all these Hollywood techniques into all my movies, and so far it has not disappointed. And if you've watched the movies, you've seen they have a very big, more production value go up. It looks like it's more professional, and I'm very, very happy with the techniques I've been using. It's really added to the movie and made it that much better. So I just wanted to take some time to talk about the movie itself and the cinematography and certain strategies I used to help make the audience feel a certain way. Last, but certainly not least, it's just a bunch of random stuff, new things that I did in the movie. There was so much stuff in the movie that actually was really new, and there was a lot of just new things that we tried. Well, not really a ton. There was more like just one thing we really tried, but I kind of want to point it out because it's a really cool thing. All right, let's do this, guys. Number 1, we're going to start off by looking at the color of the film. Like, I've always known that color grading in movies is really important, and I know that in order to get a good looking image, you want to make sure that the colors of your movie are very vibrant and looking cool. But up until now, my only goal with color grading was to make the colors look normal. That's really boring. For this movie, I decided to, after watching a couple videos about color in film, I decided to pick 2 distinct colors that I would use throughout the movie to display a certain feeling and emotion. I think there are a lot of movies out there, color plays a huge role in them, but people don't so often realize that colors have such a huge effect on people. It's just something that we subconsciously notice. You don't necessarily absolutely 100% need it. It's just sort of an added bonus to make the audience feel that specific emotion that you want them to feel. For Last Day, I decided to go with sort of a blue color. And this might seem pretty obvious. It's because blue. It's blue. The whole movie has sort of a depressing feel to it because this guy finds out that he has 24 hours to live. It's not going to be bright and vibrant colors in this movie. You might not think that's important, and you might think that going through every single clip and then putting a LUT on every single clip seems like a lot of work. But I think that it really did change a lot. It added so much more emotion and feeling and character to the story. I saw this quote once. I can't remember it exactly what it was, but I just remember the main base of the quote, and it was basically talking about color just is another character to your movie. You can have a boring, dull-looking movie with just colors you see every day, or you can enhance every color, bring out the vibrant colors, or add your own colors, or change the entire colors of everything you want. It just adds more. It's another tool that you can use to add a feeling. And really, there's not really a specific reason. Like if you want to feel sad, you don't have to have blue. You can use a ton of different colors to show a certain feeling. I just specifically chose blue. So I also chose a bit of orange. It was like a gold LUT. I don't exactly remember the name of the LUT, but I do remember that it had a gold orange to it. Just basically made the gold and orange scenes of the sunset in the movie just look so much more pretty and vibrant. I also added a little bit of relief because the whole movie, it's like this dull, blue, like sad, boring colors, and then he goes outside and the colors are vibrant and yellow and just bright colors that just kind of refreshing. I know that a lot of people might not have watched that and been like, hey, that makes me feel refreshed because it's orange outside. But when people do see that, it's going to trigger a response subconsciously, and most people are probably not going to notice that. Next up, we have cinematography. I love cinematography. It's not just the camera angles and movement of the camera, it's also lighting. I didn't do much with lighting in this movie. Of course, we have the opening scene with the light shining through, which I'll get to in a minute. Mostly in this one, I was focusing just on the camera angles and emitting a certain feeling to how the character's feeling through the position of the camera. The opening shot of the movie starts with a dull, boring scene. Just a shot of the room at night. And I also thought it was an interesting way to sort of bring the audience in. You start far out, and then you have a zoom close-up of the clock. And one of the things I also tried to do is in specific moments that were sort of important, the camera moves in closer to the character, which just kind of, it's a common sense cinematography thing. If it's an important moment, then, well, the camera zooms in on the character, showing that is an important moment. That is one of the important parts of film. It's just kind of a common rule that cinematographers use. If this is important, if the line that is given in this moment is important, let's put the camera close to our actor. Partially maybe to see the reaction of the actor, or just to show that this is a more closer, intimate. It's really whatever you think, but it has an enormous psychological effect on the viewers. One of the things about the movie is trying to capture a loneliness, and with the color before we also sort of captured the sadness, but I think the color also added to loneliness, which another thing we added in the cinematography also was the positioning of the camera. Tyler is placed in the middle of the frame, and the world around him is so much bigger than he is, and it's kind of just showing how alone he is, how much empty space is around him, which obviously if you're in a room completely alone with no one, you're gonna feel lonely. And I think that was something that I really tried to capture in the movie because I wanted people to feel the loneliness that Tyler Hopkins feels. Last, but certainly not least, we have the third category. One of the biggest things in this movie that we did differently was aspect ratios. What are aspect ratios, you ask? Well, let me explain. Aspect ratios are the simple things that are in every single movie, but you have never, ever noticed them. The black bars on the top and bottom of the screen. Yes, we added black bars to this movie. This was a huge kind of risk to me. I was a little worried about doing it because obviously the black bars cover a big majority of your footage. So I was a little worried that maybe one shot wouldn't specifically work when we filmed it, and then the aspect ratios would cover up something essential, something we needed to show. But luckily, we kind of took a leap of faith on that, and it turned out to be really cool. And the aspect ratios added this really cinematic feeling to the movie because there are so many, all movies have aspect ratios, and we always subconsciously notice them. I feel like once we added these aspect ratios, it made our movie look more cinematic. That combined with the cinematography and the color of the movie, I think it just added so much more to the story. I really liked it, and it had just a cool feel to the movie. It just made it look so much more professional. And that is the big new thing that we added in this movie. Usually I try to add one new thing, big or small, in every single movie. Sometimes it's small and hardly noticeable, and sometimes it's enormous. Well, this has been the breakdown of Last Day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm hoping to maybe make some more in the future. Just some more detailed looks into the creation of movies and the thought process behind creating these movies. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Last Day and got to have a bit more of appreciation for the end product. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic summer day, and I hope to be speaking with you guys soon, talking about other big projects that are coming up. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic summer, and I will see you guys later.